Winning a premiership is hard work, especially at under 12 level.
Mediocre me.
You know, you run onto the field and you look at your opponents. You've got Dalsano, Ladson, the Selwood twins. They were a really good side.
AFL.
I think looking back now, Rick Ladson losing the under-12s flag really spurred him on to winning that 08 flag against the Cats.
Horse racing.
Hey Fat Cat had all the promise in the world and now it's just mediocre.
So the front runner now, V8, claims Hey Fat Cat, but Southport Tycoon elected a quarter, V8, Riff Rocket third, Quintessa 4. They were followed by Verdad, next to Targo Cap Farrar, then Hey Fat Cat followed by...
Can you send me Mark Hunter's tips? Hello, Dad, are you there?
Greetings, wherever you're listening, and welcome to episode 3 of Mediocre Me. With Nick O'Reilly, thank you. For live at the Gather Round Spectacular. No, not really. That's just a fake applause, isn't it? No, I'm not in Adelaide. Everyone is though. I'm not. I'm actually in. This is the Gather Round Spectacular live from Geelong. That's how I'm rolling today. But anyway, welcome. Thanks for joining me again. I've been a bit MIA in the last few weeks, but I'm back. I've had a bit on with the fam, but everyone's good. We're back. So don't worry about that. So Gather Round this weekend has been unbelievable so far. I'm recording this Thursday night. Melbourne and Adelaide are about to kick off in about an hour or so. I'm just going to record this and I'm going to go and cook a bit of a steak because I am absolutely starving. Gather Round. Yeah, it's going to be an absolute rip snorter. Oh, sorry, I was just looking at someone just started following me on Instagram, another fan, obviously. Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend over there. Looking forward to all the coverage. Tony Jones is on the news as we speak. We'll talk about him a little bit later on, and Tom Morris. There's a bit happening there. Look, but it looks like the atmosphere is absolutely through the roof over there. They've had... Channel 9 did the Tuesday Night Spectacular, which was a great. Delta Goodrum. I don't know why everyone... It seems to me as though Delta Goodrum, who played on Tuesday night, what a great entertainer. She's unbelievable. I don't know, a lot of people don't like her. I think she's unbelievable. She can bloody sing. She's fantastic. Speaking of great singers, they had the welcome... Last night, the welcome dinner AFL hosted, I've got a source on the inside saying Tina Arena played. And wowee, Tina Arena. I am a massive fan of hers. I actually went to see her with Billy Joel a couple of years ago. And I fell in love with Tina Arena when she released Sorrento Moon back when I was a kid. And I didn't really think about Tina Arena again until a couple of years ago. When I saw her live. Good Lord, she can bloody sing. And she's still a total fox. She's a babe, Tina Arena. Anyway, I think Mum always wanted me to hook up with her. But, it's obviously not going to happen, is it? Well, you never know. Never say never. Stranger things have happened. I'm back on the market now, so... Tina, I know she listens to Mediocre Me, so if you're listening, I'm up for it. Okay, what have we got? So Gather Round, the gathering, the fight night the other night. Jeez, I've seen some vision, some pretty average boxing happening. And don't get me wrong, I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. But the one that stood out for me was Big Sav knocked out Corey McKernan and sort of grabbed him as he went down. So it was good as Sav. But geez, it wasn't I wouldn't say it was the hardest punch I've ever seen. It just looked to me, it just got him in a sweet spot. It wasn't a hell of a lot. And as he was going down up at the ropes, Corey McKernan, Big Savs just wrapped his arms around him and saved him, basically, which is a good thing for them. Nathan Brown beat up Corns. Jeez. Thank God. There was a lot of pressure on Nathan Brown to do so. And when I say thank God, I love Kane Corns, but the pressure Brownie would have been feeling would have been through the roof. He was on Triple M. A lot of people have been getting into him about it, saying you've got the whole AFL footy public on his shoulders. A bit of pressure to get the job done, but I must feel for... I don't say I must. I do feel for Kane Corns. He just cops it, doesn't he? I like it. I think it's good gear. But anyway, well done, Nathan Brown. I'll tell you what, Nathan Brown didn't look like in the best nick, but geez, when Cornsey got his shirt off and the rig on it, geez, I was calling him a greyhound not that long ago. He's bulked up, the big boy. He's looking really good. Daisy Thomas and Dane Swan, the way in the other night. Swanee's still in pretty good nick. Daisy, not so much. But either am I. So, but in saying that, I'm not getting the rig out and boxing, am I? But the one that really probably surprised me, and I know he's a bit of a rattlesnake, but Mitch Robinson gave Pettifer a nice little touch-up. And Pettifer he's had some professional fights, but Mitch Robinson has said in the news that he wants to get into fighting, to boxing. So that was a nice little introduction for the big boy. He can throw him. Jeez, I wouldn't want to get punched by him. If I got punched by one of his sort of like left jabs, I reckon I'd just about die, which is great. Now, with that in the can now, with the boxing, they'll obviously, it was a stand pay-per-view. I don't know what the numbers were or how it looks or whatever, but I dare say if it was a success, they will do it again next year. And now we've had those ex-footy players going, but now I think we need a bit of a different angle, and I think I'm sort of, my head says Tom Mitchell versus Tony Jones. Now, all week in the lead up to Gather Round, they've been on Channel 9 in the news, they've been doing live crosses from the studio in Melbourne over to Adelaide. And Tony Jones and Tom Mitchell, too many T's, are there, and they are. it's like Bert and Ernie or something. Every cross they do, they're together, and they're having fun now. But this is I think it's going to get old pretty quick. Tom Morris is flexing his guns a bit. He's a new guy in town. He's a head of footy. Tony Jones, I don't think, will be appreciating it. Hence why I think they're together. I think you just got to read between the lines. I reckon Tony will be getting his nose out of joint and saying, nah, I'm on it as well. So I don't think the romance will last between now and next year. I think it'll be, I think they won't like each other a hell of a lot. And that's why I think they should get in the ring and sort it out this time next year. So let's try and get that over the line for next year. The other one, this would be the main event, I reckon. Mark Howard versus Liam Pickering. Howie versus Pickers. That's been brewing in the media the last few weeks, and I've got the Herald Sun article in front of me. They've been going at each other. Howie on Triple M, and of course Liam Pickering on SEN with Hutchie. But I'll just read some of this gear out of the Herald Sun. Broadcaster Mark Howard has hit back at a dig from SEN host and player agent Liam Pickering over a radio rivalry. Last week, Pickering couldn't resist a jibe at the number of hosts who had departed Triple M's Dead Set Legends over the years. A show pitted against his off-the-bench program in the Saturday morning time slot. On the show, he's co-hosted with Craig Hutchins for 17 years. Pickering went through all the names, listing them as a footy team that they'd seen off over the years and had sent to the Dead Set sick bay. Now, this is a quote from Howie. I did Dead Set Legends. I did it with Brendan Favola, who's now getting paid $1.5 million on Fox FM. I did it with Nathan Brown, who's got about 17 different media jobs. I did it with Campbell Brown, who does what he wants, and the Duck, Wayne Carey, is so big he's moved out of media, Howard said on Triple M. When you look at it, obviously the phone hasn't been ringing for Pickers. He's been whacking away there for over 20 years doing the same thing. Howard went on to suggest Pickering was still doing off the bench all these years later because his career hadn't progressed. Pickering was surprised by the response, noting that they are all regular listeners of his show. And then Pickers says, Howie sounded like he took it personally. He tried to do this show. This was his first choice, and it didn't work for him. I'm still going 17 years later. Fight. We're on. This time next year, we are on. Pickers versus Howie. But I will say this. Pickers would absolutely knock the absolute shit out of Howie. I can just picture it now. It would be a left, right, and then just whang, bang, big uppercut. It'll get Howie, it'll knock him out, and then I can just picture Pickers with a dart and a Pepsi Max can. He'll have a couple of drags of a dart, he'd put it out on Howie's head and just scull a Pepsi Max, crush it and throw it into the crowd. I'm the champ, all that gear. It'd be unbelievable. That's what we really want. We want that next year. We really need to start. I just need to start talking to people about it just so we can get it happening. Absolutely get it happening. It'll be unbelievable. One day, I'm just watching the news. Let's talk about this. Bruce Lerman. Brucey boy. I just need to pick, I just need to switch Instagram accounts. I sent myself this post the other day. It was, here we go, here it is, Guardian, the Australian article. Let's go back to the start. What a Channel 7 producer allegedly bought for Bruce Lerman. This is unbelievable. He's on the bags, obviously, I reckon. Okay, a former 7 producer has sworn an affidavit claiming texts, messages and receipts in his possession show tens of thousands of dollars was billed to the network while the Spotlight program was courting Bruce Lerman for an exclusive television interview. The claims have not yet been tested in court, and producer Taylor Orbach will give evidence about the expenses on Thursday in a sensational development in the defamation trial, which has been reopened after an application by 10 was accepted by the federal court, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's happened today. I haven't watched the news, I haven't seen the update, as I just see a photo they've got. They're using stock vision on Channel 9 of someone cutting up some cocaine on the table. People don't. Oh no, this is a current affair now. People don't refer in the media. They don't say coke or anything like that. They just usually say a white substance or white powder. But a current affair has just gone all out. And just been pouring out what looks like ice sugar and cutting it up just as a bit of B-roll while I do this interview. Let's have a look at some of the things that the producer claims was purchased for Bruce whilst all this was happening. 8 separate charges of a Sensei Thai massage on 26 November 2022. That, my friends, equals $10,315. That guy is getting chicken twisties flat knacker, right? But do you know what he's doing before? I'll tell you. A meal at the Chop House restaurant Sydney, which included a $361 1.9 kilo tomahawk steak, $500 total. So he's having the steak, he's having a few reds, then he's going to get a chicken twisty, allegedly. Let's just make that clear. This is all untried. I don't know. I don't know what's happened in court today, so I better say allegedly. A meal at Franca Restaurant Sydney, $517. A meal at Spice Temple, $450. This guy's crying poor, and he's just living it up. Randwick accommodation for 3 weeks, close to 12 grand. Round of golf, $400. Bridport Hotel in Tassie, $259. Taxi, flight and cost. That is, and then not to mention that allegedly. This other producer and him are just hitting the bags, flat knacker. What's wrong with people? It's pretty weird. Sorry about that. It's just that was weird. Getting a phone call. Yeah, when you got your laptop open, isn't it a stinker? You got your laptop open, and when I record stuff, it always happens. Someone will call, and then it just goes on record. I don't care. It's mediocre me. We do whatever. We don't really give a shit. A lot's happened in a couple of weeks. So there's been obviously the drug scandal that's come out. We don't really need to go into it to too much detail, do we? Let me take off my shirt. Is that mic still on there? Yeah, no, it's on my t-shirt. I've got this vest and it's real rustly. It's probably better sound quality, actually. Yeah, the drug scandal that's popped up in Parliament the other week. There's been some great commentary. I've heard some great gear, some great callers call in Talkback Radio. This one really stood out for mine. Let's have a listen to, I don't know, Barry from Barry's. I don't know where he's from, but have a listen.
Hey, how you going?
Good.
Yeah, just on the broad range of covering of the testing. There's lots of countries around the world where alcohol's bad. It's banned, illegal, can't obtain it. And here in Australia, there's no testing. They don't do any testing for alcohol. I'm just wondering why there's such an on the illicit, things like marijuana, which I'd much prefer to train with someone who's stoned than someone who's run around pissed, because there's more chance of them stacking into me. So, yeah, I don't understand why there's so much emphasis on the illicit side, and yet there's nothing out. There's more mental health issues, which seems to be the premise of the whole thing. They're using mental health, or they're worried about the players, with mental health, because they've used an illicit substance. Surely alcohol comes under that banner tenfold more than any illicit substances. So, yeah, I'm just wondering why you seem to be the expert on all these illicit things. Why don't they test for alcohol? Or you may not know you're training with someone who's blind. I'm not saying they would be, but I'm just saying there's no other area like that.
Yeah, that's... Well, first of all, let's just say Dwayne Russell's no expert on... probably on anything in this nature. And he says he doesn't claim to be. He just, hosts Talkback Radio. Who's getting stoned and pissed and rocking up to footy training? Seriously. It'd be pricks spewing and carrying on. Fuck, it'd be a fucking nightmare. Pissed and stoned at trial. I'd rather... Hey, come on, guys. Come on. This is one of my absolute personal favourites. This is Andy Maher and Andrew Gaze talking about getting on the bags.
Rolls on drugs. Mate, there's a cost of living crisis. I don't think they can afford to do that many drugs anymore.
What? I wouldn't even... See, this is how naive I am, Matt. I wouldn't even know how expensive it is. I would have no idea. Just as a complete aside, I mean, that's completely irrelevant.
And I'm fortunate that, I believe I am. I'm fortunate that my kids haven't, not aware of. But
hey, Dad, can I borrow 50 off you? Just need to go and get a bag.
No.
I don't reckon that's going on, is it?
A bag of blow.
Well, isn't that what they have it in?
It's so good. I love Andrew Gaze and Murray. They're just trying to play the straightest bat of all time. Let's just get this bit.
Don't you go and get a bag?
Oh, seriously, guys. Seriously. See, I can use this forever now. That's what Murray doesn't get. Hey, Murray, what do you want to do tonight?
Don't you go and get a bag?
Mate, sounds like a plan. Hey, let's have a look at Tasmania Devils. Obviously have launched in the last few weeks, and I'm absolutely loving it. Everyone's up and about. Tasmania's up and about. The whole country, I reckon Australia, everyone has just rallied around this idea of Tassie having a team. And it goes to show 150,000 members and bloody counting. How good's that? I don't know, it's $10 membership or $15. I bought a membership. I got a $10. I just want the sticker so I look like a hipster freak around Fitzroy. Would that count as being a hipster? No, probably wouldn't actually. There's some cool stickers. The merch is sick. The design's cool. The Devil's sort of... I don't know. I really like it. But there's been plenty of debate off the back of it, is that, the 19th team. What about the 20th team? Stuff having a bye. Let's get another team in there. And I'm really into Northern Australia or Darwin having a team. And I think I need to get serious for a second. Let's make it look like professional on 60 Minutes. How good is that? So this has been unbelievable. So there's been plenty of work in the background for Darwin to have a team. It's probably for the last few years actually. Tim Watson on SEN has thrown his support behind it. With what's going on in Alice Springs, Darwin, out in remote communities in the top end. I'm loving that 60 minutes thing. That it could really bring some good social benefit for the top end. I think I'm going to run out of the time. I think it goes for 60 seconds. The social benefit would be through the roof. And some reasons why Darwin should get a team is definitely that, the social benefit for Northern Australia and community. It's just finished. The social benefit for the North, and then the other point would be the Indigenous players not having to move down south and struggle in the cold environment. Now, how many great players have we seen come into the AFL and for only their careers to be cut short because of the home factor? I'll put my hand. Like I lived in northeast Arnhem Land and Darwin, and before I moved up there, I moved from Melbourne to a place called Elcho Island, Gallowincourt in northeast Arnhem Land. And before I went up there, I always thought to myself, why, like with some of the great Indigenous players, why in the hell would you want to give up this good wage and playing on the G in front of 80,000 people to go home? Why would you want to do that? But it's not until I moved to a remote community that I realised that this, like for Northeast Arnhem Land, the Yolngu people, the Yolngu Rom, the Yolngu world is super important, and it's the only thing that matters, really. I helped two boys get down on Geelong's VFL list, and Lockie Durko was one of them. One of the most gifted players I've ever seen. He was on the VFL list. He didn't even play a game. He got to Easter and he just wanted to go home. But, we probably had him penciled in to, do a year in the VFL, get that build the fitness up, put a bit of beef on, because he's a skinny little unit, and then to, eventually get rookie listed, which he would have done. But so I guess what I'm saying is that some of these players would be able to, some of these young Indigenous gifted players would be able to stay in their home state, close to home, close to community, close to the people that matter in their life, their family, and play AFL. Now, the other part of it is that the work that's already been done by Sean Bowden and AFLNT, the government's behind it. It would bring a new stadium to Darwin. So if you haven't been to Darwin, TIO Stadium's out of town, and in the wet seasons, in the dry seasons, it's fucking hot. It's a hot place. It's sort of, inland a bit and it just gets stinking hot. The stadium's getting old. The Michael Long Centre's there, the Great Longy, which is a new facility. I think it was completed in 2014. So it's fairly new. It's 10 years old. It was fitted out for NT Thunder, RIP. So they'd get a new stadium, but they would get the new stadium in town in Darwin, which would drive, tourism and everything's really been affected with what's happening. It costs so much money to get up there now. So I think a new stadium, like Macklemore's playing, right, in Darwin in May in a park, which is great. But Macklemore, they'd have his stadium. You get bigger, acts, you get playing in Darwin, you get people travelling in. So the benefit for not only the social benefit, remote communities, young Indigenous players not having to leave their home state, but then also, the economy in the top end and tourism and all that, and the money that it would bring in, which is like Darwin especially, and like Alice Springs off a hook at the moment, but Darwin especially could really do something with that. Sean Bowden, last time I spoke, who's the chair of AFLNT, he was really pushing for it. I haven't spoken to him for quite some time, but I think he'd still be pushing for it now that Tassie's come into play. There's been calls for, Norwood in Adelaide. They've got two teams. Like Adelaide's a bigger Darwin. They've got Port and Adelaide. Like, piss off, South Australia. That'll do. That'll do for now. But the WA's in the same boat. WA can't have another team. Especially at the moment with West Coast fucking stinking it up. Or would you go the other way, or would you drag a team out of the AFL and bring it back to 18? And who would that team be? Collingwood. No, not Collingwood. You can't. Gold Coast are going to fire up, I reckon. GWS are flying. You can't pull them out. AFL's pumped too much money into them to pull out. Now, you can't drop a team. You got to introduce one more side. I reckon the Darwin Frothies. No, you can't do the Darwin Frothies. I think there's an NBL 1 team called the Salties, which would be good, the Darwin Salties, but NBL 1 team's got them. Could you pay them out and just steal their name? The Salties would be good, have the Crocs. Or maybe the Darwin Crocs. It's like salty though, because if someone gets pissed off, you go, a bit salty. It's a fucking shit joke. That's shocking. All right, let's have a look at the rest of Gather Round this weekend. It's going to be an absolute banger. I'm dead set. Just going to have a few bloody Stingray beers, thanks to our good sponsors at Bod Riggy, this weekend, and just watch footy. All from home. All from currently living between Geelong and Fitzroy. In Geelong this weekend, I find myself. Adelaide, Melbourne tonight. By the time you listen to this, that would have been done, but let's go Melbourne. Brisbane and North. Geez, this is interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting. If North Melbourne beat Brisbane, the North have been playing good footy in patches. If I can string all that together and give us at least 3 quarters. If I can bring at least 3 quarters or 2.5, say 2.5, because Brisbane aren't bringing shit. They bring a quarter and then that's it. If North can bring 2.5 quarters, they'll beat Brisbane. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with that. I wonder what Andy Marr will be doing after that.
Did he go and get a bag?
Nah, Andy, you'll be working, mate. You'll be calling the footy. West Coast and Sydney, let's not even go into that. Although Richmond beating Sydney last weekend was great. Freo and Carlton, this is going to be good. Freo are playing good footy, so are Carlton. And I think Cripper's just had the baby, so you've got to say Carlton. That's going to... Are they? I don't know. Maybe. I'll tell you what, Andy Marr's a huge Carlton fan, and I'll tell you, if Carlton win... Saturday, if he's calling the game 4:20, he'll be done for the night. I'll tell you what he'll be doing.
Did he go and get a bag?
That's right, Andrew Marr, you will be. Saturday night, Western Bulldogs versus Geelong. This is going to be a tight one too, but I think Geelong might be a bit too good. That was another good game on Easter Monday, Geelong and Hawthorn. Hawthorn were good. The lightning strike. Everyone was banging on about AFL don't know what they're doing and they're confused. No, there's rules. There's rules into play. In Darwin, I was calling doing play-by-play commentary on 7 up there, and there was a lot of time in the wet season where there was some electrical storms going through. We called the footy off a lot. It was pretty wild. Anyway, AFL did a good job. Geez, AFL cop it, don't they? I'll tell you what, they will be... Jack Ginnivan, speaking of AFL coughing it, Jack Ginnivan and the free kick scandal on Monday, I feel for him. I do actually feel for him. This is the thing with umpiring. If you just call it as you see it, don't go a certain way because a certain player does things. If you see it high, you've got to call it high. That's it. Just keep it simple. Black and white. I should be an umpire. Gold Coast, GWS will win. Gold Coast have got some great debutants coming in, but GWS is, God, they're fucking the Mercedes-Benz. It's like if a Mercedes-Benz and a Porsche had a child. It's GWS right now. Richmond and Saints, I reckon Richmond might do them. No, they won't. Lynch is done. Nah, Saints will win. And to round things out, Collingwood and Hawthorn, that's going to be good. Again, like North, what I said earlier, if Hawthorn can string a few quarters together, make it be a bit more consistent, they might upset Collingwood. Collingwood played well. See, Collingwood put that pressure on against Brisbane last week, and which was good, but Collingwood still stunk. Johnny Noble from Collingwood had something like 16 or 17 disposals midway through the second quarter, running at like 90% efficiency. How come he hasn't been getting a game? No idea. He must have done a big Cleveland steamer right on Craig McRae's bonnet. Collingwood should win that. All right, well, thanks for joining us this week. It's been an absolute banger. It's good to be back. Sorry, I've been MIA for 2 weeks, but we'll be back. Don't worry. We love it here on Mediocre Me. Thanks to Bodriggy, sponsor Stingray beer. Jeez, I love a Stingray. We're having a few of them this evening, and all over the weekend watching the footy. But I'll tell you one thing, Andy Marr will definitely be doing.
Don't you go and get a bag?
See ya.